Cape Summer Festival of Racing begins on Saturday the 23rd of November. We cannot wait to welcome you to Hollywoodbets Kenilworth for the Grade 2 Cape Punters Cup and all the supporting features. High quality. There's, of course, the last stepping stone into the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas, which has attracted a very promising bunch of entries. That'll be held on the 14th of December. That'll be the third day of the Cape Summer Festival of Racing, the second day being the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas. But it all starts here, and we're expecting a pretty good crowd to come to Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. A lot going on, lots to tickle your fancies, and hopefully the 10-race card is up your alley as well. Welcome to the panel discussion on this Cape Racing platform. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all of our social media avenues, and hopefully we can steer you in the right direction. Now, the two guests for the first panel for the summer will be very, very lucky to have one of the best riders in South Africa come and join us. Sadly, he won't be riding on Saturday due to reasons that we are about to reveal. You all know, but we'll catch up on the progress of one Luyolo Mxothwa. Louis, thanks so much for joining us here. First of all, thank you. And second of all, how are you doing? What's broken? How long are you going to be out for?
Thanks, Alistair. It's good to always, to come and help where I can help. It's good for racing. I'm also into it. Yeah, so clean broke the clavicle, but it didn't shift, so there was no operation that had to be done. And then fractured the same shoulder, but my shoulder blade. So I'll be out for like 6 to 8 weeks. Hopefully can come back sooner without having to force any issues. I was in pain at that time, but after that I'm good. I just have to stay on a sling and whatever, but I literally can do whatever I want to do, but obviously with caution. But yeah, I'm good. I'm in good spirits. I'm doing very well. It
was good to see you here on Saturday, showing the professionalism to come and join Brett Crawford and also shout home a winner. So that was very, very good to see. Very professional indeed. And here with Brandon Bailey as well. How much are you looking forward to this festival? Your second festival here at Cape Racing, but the first one entrenched as part of the team. Some big things expected in the coming months.
Absolutely, Ali. I think hats off to the entire Cape Racing team, because what they've done, obviously my first festival being last year, and we've almost 12 months on now, and a lot's been happening behind the scenes. If I can, Ellie, and you wouldn't mind, big thank you to Louis for joining us, because this is a man that I sing praises about, not only for his riding in Cape Town, but he travels. PE on a Friday afternoon. He's got his followers out there, and you mentioned the fact that he was so professional, and even coming on his day off where he could be on the couch recovering with his shoulder, he's made an effort to come and spend time with the owners of Brett and Brett himself. So, Louis, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Right, let's get into the first juvenile race of the entire season, the Futurity Plate, for a stake of 250,000 Rand. It's an 800-metre race. Obviously, it's a blank canvas, no form to work with, just a couple of gallops that we may have seen. I'm not going to ask Louis for a winner, but just generally, when you get to these races, are there any yards that are maybe one step ahead with their babies, Louis?
Justin normally steps him out quite early. Mr. Marshall also the same, and Glenn. So those are the type of trainers that I normally would follow, because they, especially Justin, he's got numbers. I see the one that one blown away is actually half brother to All Out for 6. So if there's any half decent, could be something to look after. As you said, there's no form. You just go on breeding and the talk. I've heard lots about Richard's horse. So yeah, we'll just have to go on that.
Okay.
Betting.
Well, heard lots about Richard's horse. We've all heard lots about Richard's horse, Brandon. At the breakfast gallops here just the other day, he had a nice little grass gallop, the Black Cheetah. Is that the direction without knowing too much? Obviously, there could be anything in here, horse that might just be showing enough that steps forward and turns out to be very good on grass.
Look, Alistair, I can tell you they've opened him up 16 to 10, so the bookmakers aren't going to be taking any prisoners when it comes to number 4, Black Cheetah. I am of the opinion that perhaps he might just drift closer to race time. I don't think anybody's going to want to dive in at 16 to 10, being a full field of first-timers. But I was fortunate enough to watch him closely at our breakfast morning of gallops. He sat just off them. There were 2 other horses that Justin sent him with. This is the half-brother to Great Plains, and he picked them up beautifully with Richard Faree. So, Alistair, I'm going to naturally, my eye's going to be drawn to number 4, Black Cheetah, because I have seen him work. He's a very nice horse, and the comment in the front of the computer form, Justin Snaith confirmed that he's a nice sort and he'll go very close. Okay, so that's all we need to know for race number 1. Let's go on to the second race. Hollywoodbets Kenilworth welcomes you. Maiden Plate for fillies and mares. They go 1,400 metres. That is the start of the bipod on this 10-race card, and I've obviously done the selection for this race. But first, let's just go to Brandon and find out what may tickle his fancy here. What's the market saying? Alistair's quite open. I'm saying open when you look past Englefield Green, because I can't believe that she's been priced up at 9 to 10. I think it is a ridiculous price. She's probably the filly that they all need to beat. It was a very good run over 1,200 metres behind Miraculous, and Louis can tell us a bit more about Miraculous. I think she's held in high regard. She won a super race at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth back on the 5th of November, and she was doing the chasing. The question mark, I mean, obviously stepping up to 1,400 metres now. Based on what I happened to see in her rerun, she was closing on beautifully on the winner, and I don't think there'll be too much concern around the 1,400 metre trip, but I won't be taking 9 to 10, that I can promise you, Al.
No, me neither, but Louis, you can give us a gauge. If Miraculous was in this race, would she be your idea of a pretty strong winner?
Yeah, 100%. I think quite highly of the filly. I think she's a very progressive filly with lots of scope. So, yeah, if you're going to go on that form line, she's definitely with a big chance. But with my pick, I really like Russian Royal. I saw the filly behind the start and cantering down and everything. Massive filly, beautiful girl. She got the draw, got Gavin Larina, experienced jockey. I think I really want to go with Russian Royal.
So that's my direction as well. Louis is 100% right. When she made her debut at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, she just had such presence. She was so imposing. She ran third to Yo Laka Dung. Might be a bit of a quiet formula, but she can only step forward. She's from the famous Mother Russia, Another Russia family. I think Tatiana, the mare, is a half-sister to Mother Russia. Could be a half-sister to Another Russia. But whatever the case may be, number 3, Russian Royal, will step forward significantly and from a good draw on the summer course as well for the first time in a while. I think that she is going to be right there. And I've backed her up at a boxed exacta with number 11, Sweet Conifer. Has got an awkward draw. In fact, Richard Ferree's got good draws all day except for number 11, Sweet Conifer. And I think she's, although a diminutive daughter of Canford Cliffs, she can show necessary improvement and get into the race as well. So yes, I'm bypassing the 9 to 10 favourite. Let's go on to race number 3. It's the first leg of the place accumulator off at 1:15. Cape Turf Club Maiden played for fillies and mares over 1,200 metres. Tuscan Romance, second. Louis going to be watching from the sidelines. What's been the story with her? Has it been bad draws? Has it just been better horses that may have just got her numbers? At a lack of confidence? Now she's going back down the straight for the first time in a while. What's hampered her from getting into the number 1 box so far?
So her first 2 starts was down the straight. Obviously the first one she needed the experience, and the second one she bumped a very nice filly, Miss World. I think she's quite a decent filly. She's shown she's a decent filly. And then she went to a break and she came back and she needed the run. She had a decent draw that day, but she needed the run. And then after that, she just never had a good draw. We just had to use her, or when you try to take your medicine, you look at the race, it doesn't look so strong enough to be taking your medicine. You want to get stuck behind bad horses, and then you end up using it a little bit too much. And so we just opted to just bring her back to distance. She's still drawn bad, but at least it's down the straight. I think she'll be hard to impress. She's a decent filly, Master of My Fate. She's quite lanky, quite leggy still. I think she's got lots of growing to do. And obviously the confidence part also will, when she does find that winner's box, it'll boost her confidence very much.
Brandon, is it Tuscan Romance's race to lose this?
For me, Alistair, only 3 horses can win the race. I think we need to give big respect to the 16 to 10 favourite. That's the opening price. Remember, it is a pre-recorded show, so these prices are subject to change. The 5 from a distance, big respect, Alistair. She had no luck in running from a wide draw at Hollywoodbets Durbanville last time out. Form before that, I know they think the world of Polynomial. Good run to Artiste, is also a very decent filly trained by Brett Crawford. So with the blinkers fitted, now that she's back up the straights, I'm expecting her to go close. And then 7 Hope Chest. Alistair, this is one for the public they need to follow closely. She's a nice big daughter of What a Winter. She caught the eye behind Miraculous. In fact, Miraculous had to do the fetching. She hit the front at about the 300. And I've always said when she goes 14 a mile, you're going to see the best of number 7, Hope Chest. I've spoken to Albert Steyn often about her, and they think she's very decent. So include her into the play. And then you've spent a bit of time on Tuscan Romance. So she's got an undeniable chance. Her last 2 runs, Alistair, that run to Garden of Eden, they thought Garden of Eden was good enough to line up in the Grade 2 Western Cape Fillies Championship. I know she ran tailed off, but the fact that they put her there just shows you what they think of the filly. And then Goodness Gracious Me, I speak under correction, holds an entry into the World Sports Betting Fillies Guineas, which happens early in December. So 15 Tuscan Romance, now that she's back in trip, she's going to have a big chance with Cabello Mazzaniano.
And I want to throw in a horse, top 4, number 13, Blossoming Mind. When she goes a mile, she'll just about win, but top 4 here on Saturday. Now let's start off the pick 6 as the World Sports Betting Sophomore Sprinter listed feature over 1,200 metres race runs at 10-2, and it's a field of 7 that face the starter. Some potentially promising 3-year-old sprinters. Obviously, Lion Rampart has proven himself, and there are quite a few here that still need to prove themselves. So, Brandon, I'm going to kick off with you here in race number 4. Do you have any direction? Is Lion Rampart likely to bounce back?
Absolute two-horse race, Alistair. And I know you probably disagree with me, but I think Lion Rampart is the horse that they do need to beat. He went very fast last time out. It was his first run back. He was entitled to come up for air into the closing stages, and I know they think Luhamba Pambili is a very nice sort, trained by Gareth van Zyl. He'll tighten up, and I like the fact that he's back over 1,200 metres. So 3 Lion Rampart, and then Kai Boy. We know that Mon Petit Cherie came out to win that grade 2 very nicely with Richard Fourie, and Candice Bass has often mentioned that when he matures a little bit with time, he's a horse that we need to follow closely as well. Those are the only 2 that'll fight it out. Justin Snaith will probably remind me that Roman Agent's also in the race. He would have needed his last run back behind Luhamba Pambili, where he finished in front of Lion Rampart, but I'm confident that that form will be turned around.
Louis, the only horse you've ridden here is Mauritius Kestrel, but you would have obviously ridden against all of these horses over the last few months. Is Lion Rampart a deserving top choice, or are you looking for a potential improver to have his measure?
No, I have to agree. I think Lion Rampart has proven himself that he should be favourite in this race. They all have to beat him in this race. Last time he might have just needed the run also, as Brendan mentioned. Yeah, Kai Boy, I really like Kai Boy. As I said, with that Mon Petit Cherie form line. I mean, he's run second before to Lion Rampart also. And all young horses, they're bound to improve. Mauritius Kestrel, the second last run behind Oliver was very disappointing. We thought he'd run a much better race that day, and something was amiss on the day. But if you look at his form, he's run against the best horses. All Out for 6, 8 on 18. Because those are all horses that are good horses. Roman Agent, Great Plan. He's got the form behind him. I'm just not sure about coming back to distance now. But I will just have to see on the day.
Okay, so this is my opinion. I do like number 6, Kai Boy. I think that he will run into the top 2. I have a lot of respect, obviously, for Lion Rampart. I think Mapaka is also better than his last run, but I think he's got a little bit to prove at the moment. So I think that Kai Boy, on what I saw last time at Hollywoodbets Dermaville, and the second run after a race when beating Mon Petit Cherie, as Brandon and Louis both mentioned, that form has been very well franked. I think that Kai Boy will run into the top 2 under Alder Demea for Candice Bass Robinson, and I think that he's a potentially very smart sprinter in the making, not taking anything away from his rivals, obviously, in race number 4. So let's slide on to race number 5. First leg of the first jackpot, World Sports Betting Bantry Bay Stakes over 1,100 metres. Brandon brought me into Hollywoodbets Kenilworth today, and we spent half an hour chatting about this race and not necessarily agreeing. So maybe Louis can be the tiebreaker here. Louis, let's kick off with you. If you could choose any ride in race number 5, considering now number 11, Cafe Culture is scratched, and Gavin Lorena rides number 10, Cosmic Highway, who would you have chosen?
I wouldn't pick the Abdicator.
What is it? Okay, let's start with the Abdicator. Not that we're giving him a winning chance here, but he's obviously got a lot of ability, but he's his own worst enemy, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he gave me a hard time as a youngster when he was still a colt. Yeah, bad hard times, like bad memories. I mean, which horse over races in a 1200 at Scottsville? I mean, you don't really see that much. So he gave me he just never used to settle in the paint. He did everything wrong. He just raced very bad with me. And obviously the 1200 was never his alley. But now they brought him back to 5 furlong, and it's 1100 now. But should still be fine. So otherwise, he's a good horse. He's been very good lately. Only his last start, he did something in the paint at the start again. But I mean, nothing like that. He's definitely got the ability. But I just think he's a little bit outclassed in this race, in my opinion. Questioning, I don't see any horse beating him here. I think he'll win. Just simple as that.
Okay, so Louis and I sing from the same hymn sheet, Brandon. You obviously have a lot of respect for questioning, but... But who?
I like Mal Capitano. Alistair, he was very unlucky last time out. Dare I say, but I thought he should have won the race. He got cleaned up at the start, and we know that his best runs have come from being on speed. He made up good ground late, and I really believe that Richard Fourie gets on best with him, so he'll have him on speed, hoping that there's no hard luck stories at the start again. He's ready to go for me. I know that there's maybe a small weight turnaround when they did meet with Questioning and himself back on the 2nd of June, which favours Questioning. In saying that, I just believe that at this time of the year, right now as they stand, I think Mal Capitano's just going to be too hard to beat, Alistair. Look, there's huge respect for everything else. I don't want to make it a two-horse race. I mean, Dean Canham has got some very smart sprinters in the race. We know that Future Variety is a lot better than what he's showing. He's a magnificent looking son of Var. And then I thought Outlaw King showed signs of returning back to his form behind Raskova last time out. So in saying that, Alistair, if I was going to rush off and have a bet in race number 5, if I wasn't taking the jackpots, I would go back number 3, Mal Capitano.
Right, let's move on to race number 6. It's a summer bowl. They go 1,600 metres off at 3:05. What a race this is. This is a real treat because we've got 3 of certainly Cape Town's best 4-year-old fillies that line up against each other. Raskova, Double Grand Slam and Red Palace. And then we've also got the dynamic of Sarki, who's very good. Gold Poker Game, who's just probably been underappreciated, but very good. And Time for Love, Princess Izzy and Knockout in here as well. So it's a very, very, very strong renewal for a race that has no black type attached to it. Brandon, I'm going to kick off with you here. Is this a race between the 3 big girls? Can we narrow it down to those 3 and potentially even narrow it down further?
Alistair, I know you're very tight with your cash, but I'm even going to try and burgle some cash from you to go and back Red Palace. I think 15 to 10 is an unbelievable price. She's a very good filly. It was well documented that she hadn't seen the grass last time. That was her first run back on grass after a very successful campaign in KwaZulu-Natal, and she went past Double Grand Slam with absolute ease. Aldo had time to gear her down over a mile, Alistair. She galloped here for our breakfast morning. It was a super impressive gallop. I'm saying 15 to 10 is a magnificent price. Have a full bet, banker in everything for me. If she gets beat, I'm happy to walk with my tail between my legs, but I can't see her getting beat, Alistair.
Louis, I want to ask you about Double Grand Slam quickly. Does 1,600 metres just stretch her a step?
It used to look like it, Alistair, but now it looks like she's growing. She's obviously gotten stronger because she runs better now. You know, it doesn't. I mean, she only got beat a length by Humdinger. Humdinger is a good filly. We all know that. And Richard knows the filly best now. I mean, she's what is that? Is it on a 16? She ran second to Raskova before in a 16. She got a good draw today. I mean, on Saturday. I don't think it's too far for her, not anymore. But in saying that, I still don't think she can beat Red Palace. I think Red Palace is. If I was riding Red Palace, I would tell you now, have a bet on ahead.
Simple as that. That's the consensus from Brandon and Louis. So this is what I've suggested. It's obviously got Red Palace in it. It's a box trifecta between the 3 big girls. I think Raskova's a live runner because she is very, very hard to peg back when she gets off to the front. Obviously, if there's a blazing headwind blowing, it's going to make life a little bit harder for her. But I'll still never want to write off Raskova because she's a complete overachiever. Obviously, number 3, Double Grand Slam, brings a lot of class. But for Red Palace, they've taught me into it. They've probably taught you all into it as well. Alda De Meyer takes her out for Candice Bass Robinson, so I'm going to default to her as my top selection, the box trifecta in the Summer Bowl. Let's go on to the Cape Punters Cup Grade 2. This is the old Selangor Cup. You might remember the old trade agreement between Selangor and Kenilworth. Obviously, the Kenilworth Cup used to be run in Malaysia, where Devon Pretorius now is, and the Selangor Cup traditionally run here. But now under the guise of the Cape Punters Cup Grade 2, over 1,600 metres. It might be a small field, but all eyes will be on one stripe, or could potentially 8 on 18 spoil the party. Louis, let's start with you. Considering one stripe gave the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas winner of last year, Snow Pilot, weight and ran to a length behind what Snow Pilot did here a week earlier, surely, I mean, is it race over?
On that form line, you could say it like that. I mean, Snow Pilot, as you said, I mean, last meeting, he absolutely, on Saturday, not last meeting. I mean, the way he's racing now, he's just matured. It's just become this beast. He's doing very well. So I mean, for a 3-year-old to keep up with a pace like that and still finish off a race where there were question marks, will he go the distance or not? I think if you look at it that way, 8 on 18 will have a very hard time beating that horse on Saturday. I do really like 8 on 18. He beat me once when I rode Crim, and it's just the manner he did it. I thought he definitely is a class horse, and he proved it again when he ran in the 1500. Again, I was in the race, and the manner he did it again, you know, he's just a big baby, just learning. Very, very good horse also. but it's still going to be hard to beat One Stripe on the form line, on the latest form line.
Just a quick question about Captain West, who you obviously know well. He was in one of my 3 horses to follow at the start of the season. It's going to be very hard for him to obviously beat One Stripe on 8 on 18, but is he a little horse for the back of your mind, for the back pocket going forward?
So at the weights, it would be hard on rating and everything. I was very disappointed last time. I thought he'd run at least in the first 2 or first 3, that was. Don't know, something was amiss on that day. I got off, I told Brett, I said, no, I'm not happy with that run. I really thought he would run much better. I told the owners as well, I said, no, I really thought he'll run much better than that last time. He's got a good draw again on Saturday, but he still has to do better to feature, yeah. I know he's a nice horse, but he needs to come back to himself to feature, yeah.
Brandon, are you in the One Stripe camp, or is 8 on 18 a legitimate contender?
I think it's been well covered, Ali. Look, naturally, I mean, 1 to 3 in the market, One Stripe. He'll also drift, I think, race time. That run to Snow Pilot is probably why the bookmakers have priced him up so short. Look, Alistair, I must commend the Cape Racing team as well. I'm not sure that we'll be able to get that footage out there, but they put a GoPro on Gavin Larena when he came out to gallop the horse One Stripe, and it was great to be put in the hot seat just to get a touch and feel. I mean, we will never ride a racehorse, but just to see how quickly he turns it on and go and fetch a horse like Dumbledore, who's obviously a hardened handicapper. He's won his fair share of races, but he's a very nice horse, this. And I've just watched him grow and mature in the last 12 months. He's going to be very hard to beat. I don't want to mix my stories here, Alistair, but 8 on 18, he is a horse that I know Justin Snay thinks highly of. He's had a few gallops going into this race. He turned it on beautifully to beat out All Out for 6 in the Langeman. He came up and made up some good ground late. We were actually supposed to see this match race then already. Yes. We know that One Stripe unfortunately got scratched for the TCO2. But yeah, look, let's see how it goes, Alistair. This is what makes racing. This is why we love the game. We want to see champions. There's just one other horse that I would chuck in for trifecta purposes is number 2, On My Honour. Louis can probably tell us a bit more because his last 2 wins have been in Fairview on the poly track, and I'm not sure that those form lines can be used to match up against horses like One Stripe and 8 on 18. But for the naked eye, he's been very impressive and he's got a very good action. So, Louis, did you ever ride against him on the poly? Was there anything in behind him?
Yes, I did ride against him on the poly. Listen, just on looks, and you look at the horse himself, he's a horse that just looks classy. He's a horse that just gets better with each and every run. He did run 4 lengths behind Captain West. That was on debut though, and he hasn't looked back. He's weaker form in Paul a little bit, but it's just the way he's doing things. He's going the right way. The confidence booster, winning 3 in a row, will definitely be a good thing for him, yeah. You know, he's a good horse, but the form line is not as strong as the Cape Town horses. You know, you can run whatever form line you can bring it to Cape Town. A horse can run 5 lengths off here in Cape Town. You take it to Port Elizabeth, it'll win by 5. So it's 2 different form lines, but just on the horse himself, I think is a nice improving sort of horse.
There we go. So, I'm happy with that, trifecta purposes. But match race for me, One Stripe, 8 on 18, On My Honour for 3rd. And a horse that we need to watch closely. Not now, but a very nice horse is Garrick's.
I agree. I think there's a lot of horses for the back pocket here, but right now, also in the same camp, One Stripe from 8 on 18. Let's go on to the 8th race, Cape, powered by Hollywoodbets, Class 4 over 1,400 metres. It probably looks quite a complex race, but I'm pretty strong in my opinion. Brandon, let's kick off with you. If you were to follow a horse in race 8, who would it be?
Well, your 2-to-1 favourite is Empire State. He was mighty unlucky last time out, Alistair. But my eye's drawn to the value of number 11, Unicorn Alert. I don't think he's the easiest of rides. JP van der Merwe rode him last time out over 1,400 metres. He had the blinkers on. I spent some time watching the replay. He's better off at the weights, Alistair. So he's better off at the weights with Empire State. And they both turned for home from the same position. And if you have a look at it, Unicorn Alert for me was getting the better of Empire State into the closing stages. I know he's drawn 11, but I'm actually happy he's drawn 11 for one reason. His better runs is when he's switched off, and hopefully JP can navigate a passage and he'll be turning it on nicely. So just the 2 horses that can win it for me for the exotics. I think punters need to include number 1, Empire State, but the values with number 11, Unicorn Alert.
Okay, very interesting point. I'm going to come to Louis because Louis was part of that absolute mess 21 days earlier. You also found a little bit of interference up towards the inside rail. You were also in the same vicinity as Empire State and Unicorn Alert. What do you learn from that?
Let's just talk about Unicorn Alert quickly. See, he had the blinkers on last time, and they don't have the blinkers on the race card here. I don't know why. I mean, he made up so much ground last time with the blinkers. He ran a very good race. He came from last. He got a tricky draw again on Saturday, but I do like him. I really think he's the horse to beat. Empire State got the one draw, but still a youngster. There was interference happening. For a young horse to be interrupted like that, momentum-wise, it's never easy to come back from it. But Elder will have the run of the race this time. So yeah, but I still think it'll be hard to beat Unicorn Alert.
Very interesting. So it needs to have actually talked me out of my win bet, which was number 1, Empire State, and it's still going to be my win bet in race number 8, because I think Louis' point about a 3-year-old just compromising momentum at a crucial stage, staying on, coming back at the end, coming back from a second run after a break as well from draw 1. I do respect what the guys are saying about Unicorn Alert, and if you were to kick for touch, he is the obvious horse to back up with number 1, Empire State, but I'm going to tip him on top in the 8th race, the 3-year-old Empire State, to just get the better of the luckless Unicorn Alert. On to the 9th race. Not going to spend too much time on this. It's the Join the Action Cape Turf Club.co.za Open Maiden over 1,600 metres, the penultimate race on the card. And, there was a lot of talk for Express Yourself last time out, finishing 4th behind Zeitz. Louis, I'm going to kick off with you here. Which way are you going in the 9th race?
I'm going to go with Royal Port Louis. He's got 61 to go, but he's a big boy. He can carry that weight. I don't see much in this race. I don't see much pace in the race. And he's a horse that likes to use his action. The way the course is running at the moment, I think it definitely suit him. Kabalo might just ride a very confident race on him, which he always does anyway. But I really want to go with him. Express Yourself. He's a youngster. Good draw. He seems to be improving each and every start. Last time, I don't know what happened last time. I mean, he was well beaten. 3 lengths off where we thought he would actually come home last time. So I'm not really quite convinced. And the rest of them are it's quite an open race. They all got fair form. I can't really, I'll just stick with Royal Port Louis.
Louis sticking with what he knows. Brandon, race 9?
A few improvers, aren't there, Alistair? I know a very good-looking horse is this horse number 3, Hemstarter. He's quite a cheeky son of Patala Palace, but he caught the eye going to the start last time out. He's crying for this sort of a trip, so respect him. And then 2, Express Yourself. I've spoken to Justin often about the son of Trippy because he's a good-looking boy. He ran 4th to Zeitz. He's got a couple of lengths to find on Royal Port Louis on that run. Let's see how he goes. But Alistair, it's very hard to be overly confident with anything. I'm not going to wax lyrical about Royal Port Louis. He ran a great race from the front end last time out, and then maybe even number 12, Future Frequency. He'll be doing his best work into the finish. If I was going to have a bet in race 9, Ellie, I'd probably go keep it simple, take the swing at 2 and 6.
Okay. Then on to the 10th and last race, 25 past 5 for the Hollywoodbets Bright Future Open Maiden. They go 2,000 metres, a field of 11 to face the starter. Might not be the strongest maiden around. Just have a look at how the race is structured and all the weights. But I'm very, very keen on a horse, which I'll tell you about once Brandon and Louis have gone through it. I'm going to see if they can put me off. Brandon, how you read race 10?
Yeah, well, Ellie, I think Robert Bloomberg, the owner's got a strong hand, Jay. He's got 2 nice horses. Number 1, Green Light Legend. Let's start with her. She came from the clouds to run a very good 3rd to Forgotten Song last time out. She was doing all the chasing into the closing stages. And with 53.5 drawn 1, you have to think that she's going to be a lively contender. 2, Bombers in the Sky. Undeniable chance. Let's see how that Zeitz form line works out in race number 9. He looks like he's crying for this trip of 2,000 metres, so I'd respect him. And then 4, Golden Grey. Many of us have washed our hands. I know MJ, our good friend MJ, doesn't want to hear this horse's name again, Golden Grey. He was very disappointing when well beaten by Join the Dots in his last start. But let's see how he goes, Alistair. He's got a good draw. There should be no excuses now that he's in an open maiden. And dare I mention another horse? That's how open it is. This horse, Congressman, he's got me stumped, Alistair. He races aggressively in the early parts of his races, and then he kind of becomes a little bit one-paced into the closing stages, now steps up over 2,000 metres. I can see him going from start to finish. We saw that filly Lavender Bay win a good race for Cornet and Andre Nel during the course of the week, and they got very similar racing styles. So if he can relax out in front and he's enjoying it, he could get away at the right time, so include him. But tricky race, Alistair. Put it this way, if I was going to the last and I'm up a few rand, Red Palace arrives, I'll pay you your share of money.
Thank you.
And I will be going to watch some sport.
That's very unlike you. Cornet is really riding well at the moment. His judgment has been superb. But Louis, 10th and last race, what's your parting shot?
Yeah, obviously we have to put in, Bomber in the Sky. It's got the form line. Well, as Brandon said, we have to see it in race 9 if the foreman does actually stand up. But I do like Congressman. You know, he ran second to midway when they stepped him up in trip. Then the next start, they put a tongue tie on him. It didn't look like he enjoyed it. It ran bad. And then tongue tie again. It ran bad. Took the tongue tie off last time. He ran a much better race. He's got 61 on his back. I think he's decent enough to get away with a race like this. I'm just not sure if Corner is gonna want to go hard, you know, over the 10 furlong with 61 on his back. Because if he does go hard, I think then it'll suit Golden Grey, because Golden Grey's been running very well against winners because of the pace. I would think, you know, when you run against winners, the pace is more different, then he gets to switch off much better. It doesn't look that there's much pace in the race, so that might not suit Golden Grey. So my picks, I will take Congressman and Bomber in the Sky.
Okay, Bomber's in the Sky for me. Lovely big son of Lancaster Bomber. I think he's got all the attributes to step forward and to go this distance. I don't think that he was ready as a 2-year-old to have those starts. And I think if you eliminate all his 2-year-old form since coming back, I think that he's turned the corner and he's banging at the door. And as Louis and Brandon both rightly say, if the form is enhanced, the Zeitz form is enhanced a race earlier, then Bomber's in the Sky becomes one of the better bets on the card. So that is pretty much a wrap. Thank you so much. Louis, parting shot from you. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Great seeing you. Can't wait to see you back in the saddle. We love watching you. Your strength, your absolute tenacity, almost like a dog with a bone when you got a winning chance. So great to see you and looking forward to seeing you back in the saddle soon.
Thank you, Alistair. Thanks for having me here. Thanks, Brandon.
No, thank you, Lou. I think, Ali, a big shout out to everybody that helps us with Perfectly Placed. Louis, the first man, whenever I send a message, please can you help? No problem. So that's what it's about. We need to help the punting public. We need to try and give them as much information as we possibly can. We're not going to get it right all the time, but that's the nature of the game. Trust me, if we knew every winner, we'd be sipping cocktails, me and Louis getting engaged. He's engaged. I'd have to try and find money for the ring. But,
not necessary.
but great to see Louis. He's a good man, and we wish him a speedy recovery.
Thanks so much to Brandon as well. Thanks for those words. That's pretty much a wrap. Enjoy. We'll see you on Saturday for the Cape Punters Cup here from Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. May you find all the winners, and we're looking forward to kicking off the Cape Summer Festival of Racing.